All right, good morning, everyone. It's been a little bit since we last had a live. Last week I was off for the holiday, it's Memorial Day. Let's see, let me pull up my chat. Why won't it let me watch? All right, we'll get started in just a minute. Why won't it let me watch? All right, there we go. So, let me get everything adjusted and ready. Just put some spin, make sure we don't die while we're streaming. Should be good. All right. So today, I think I'm going to start out with looking at some new polished rocks that I have that I finished up over the last week or so while we were gone. So I'll start with some of these that are quartz. So this is a piece of. Whoop, let's see if I can get it to. There you go. So here's a piece of quartz that we found out in oh, where was it? Bethesda, Maryland. So I think it turned out pretty nice. It does still have some fractures in it, but it's all right. Some other quartz. With, all of the quartz is going to have varying degrees of staining and fractures. I think this one turned out pretty well too. Here's a really neat one that I found in Albemarle County. It's pretty low on fractures. I kind of wish I'd left it in a little bit longer for this side here. So you can see it looks like maybe there's a small fracture that could have been cleaned if I'd given it a little more time. But I think it came out really nice. I like this one a lot. Let's see, we've got a couple pieces of some quartzite that I've tumbled before. So it has this kind of purplish grayish color to it. This one's just a little sliver that I cut. But we've got a bigger piece here. You can see there are some areas. One of the issues with quartzite is it has very large grains. So sometimes you can't get a good polish. So let's see. So you can see sometimes the light catches it. Yeah, like right there. So it's not perfect, but generally pretty good. I think this one was a nice choice. And then, so this one I made a short with it. You might have seen. If you enjoy watching, I have these like 10-second shorts that I've been making where I show what the rock looked like when I first put it in the tumbler, after a week, maybe after 3 weeks, and then in the end. This is a really cool piece. I love the lines of red. It does still have a bunch of little holes. That's all right. Let's see, let's finish up with some of the more quartz-like pieces. Hi, Tomas. This one's pretty neat. Here, I like this one because it has, just kind of a regular milky quartz, but also this bluish green took a nice polish, and some of these yellows over here. It just has something interesting to it. Here's another just pretty clear quartz. Those are always fun. Very simple. I like those just because it's something that you can find all over the place, and I always enjoy seeing something that feels totally ordinary turn into something much prettier. And it's not like a fun piece of amethyst, but that's all right. So here's just a couple more of those. This, I don't really know what it is. This is, I think, the last piece that I have that hadn't finished polishing that I picked up while I was in New Orleans almost a year ago at this point, I think. Oh, forgot about this little milky quartz that came out really nice. And this, I always call it quartzite. I don't really know what it is, but it has these cool little speckles in it. So those are fun. And if you're enjoying this, be sure to give me a like. Make sure YouTube knows it's fun and enjoyable. Here's a larger piece of chert. It's got a hole that must have filled in with quartz at some point geologically, which is pretty cool. Lots of little holes, but it was an absolute mess when I first put it in the tumbler, so that's a really cool one. I don't really know what this rock is, but I think it came out all right. And I have so many of these at this point. At some point, I need to figure out how to sell them because I just have like boxes and boxes of chert piling up. And make sure, those of you that enjoy these have a chance to, pay a couple bucks and just, I'll mail you some. So if anyone has suggestions on how to do that, let me know. I don't know if I should take pictures of individual rocks and let you all pick which ones you want, or just list, a weight on Etsy and you buy a weight of a certain type of rock. Maybe I sort them by color and I just send maybe you want pink chert or like a more of a blue chert, and I'll just pick out a weight that matches. I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you have any ideas on the best way to do that. Let's see. This one's kind of cool. It's another one that had what I assume is quartz, although it didn't. There's a bunch of cracks along the area with the quartz, but there's this like weird vein of like red iron stained quartz running along there. I never thought this one would polish, but I went ahead and I tried and I tried and I tried, and it took months. And you can see there's still tons of fractures, but I was able to get a good shine, so that's always a plus. Yeah, this one's pretty neat. This is more chert. And in just a minute, I'm going to go ahead and we'll dump out some 12 pounds of chert that I've got in my rock tumbler. I just wanted to show you guys some of what's out there that I've already finished polishing. So I know in these live streams, usually we're looking at what they look like in the beginning, and then I make videos later with what they look like in the end. But I thought it'd be fun to kind of show you real quick what some of these pieces of chert will look like. Let's see. So these are all kind of smaller. They're fun. I'm going to move these over. So here now we've got, let's see if I can zoom out. So here's my tumbler. It's got about 12 pounds worth of rocks in it. Actually, probably a little lighter, I think, this time than normal. Had more small rocks, I think, than normal, but then not quite so many big rocks. But we'll see how it looks. More small rock, I think, than normal, but then there we go. All right, I'll clean that off real quick. And so this is what it looks like when I first open it up. All right, let's move everything over so we can watch. See if it gets dumped out. So I'm just going to dump it all into this big bowl. Strainer. Yep. And we'll see how everything looks. Pretty good. Okay. Right. All right. Now let's move the whole thing over. So we go back to the table. Light. Alrighty. The weather today is some of my favorite. It's like 65 degrees and light rain, which is perfect weather, I think, for going out and looking for new rocks to tumble. So maybe I'll get some of that done after we finish up here. So let's start looking. So first, let's see. This rock has a, little counterpart somewhere. So a little. Yeah. So, hmm. So it does still have this little spot here that I would like for that to smooth out, but may not. And again, if you're enjoying this, make sure you hit that like button. I'll put that over to the side. Let's see if we can find its other half. I'll do these two. So these came from, I believe, Nelson County. I think that's where I was when I got them. All right, so these used to be one big rock, like this. And of course I cut it because it was too big. So this one, so you can see there's a little spot here that maybe could use some more time, but I'm tempted to go ahead and put this one in the next stage just because I don't want it to shrink too much. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put it over. So I have this big bag of rocks that are ready for the second stage. Um, and later today, I'm going to clean out my vibratory tumbler and we'll be able to throw some of those in. So let's see, here we've got, so the other half still has some deep pockets that I need to give a little more time. So now we'll go with the ones that are going back in. Let's see, so this rock, this is some sort of metabasalt. Uh, and if you go to my profile page, my most recent video, I made some really neat cabochons from the same rock. This is one of the two big ends that, here's the other one, that I threw in my rock tumbler to see how, well, to see how it would tumble. Um, but the cabochons turned out really nice, so definitely check those out. Here's the ones. Here is a big chunk of milky quartz that's finishing up. It's getting really close. Um, but it does still have some little imperfections that I want cleaned out. So I'm going to give it a little more time. It's probably my favorite one that's in here right now. I love, love, love the reds and the blues. Make a great pattern. It's one of my favorite patterns to see in a rock. So I'm going to give that one more time. That's a big piece of chert. So this, I think I had a short video that I posted with this. So I thought that maybe it was like chert and then, I don't know, maybe still limestone or something. Looks like I was right. So this used to be a much larger rock, and that limestone, dirt, whatever it was, has worn away. So this one's going to need quite a bit more time. And I think this was also from that same rock. And darn, I was really hoping it would be something that turned out good, but you can see there's a lot of little holes here. I suspect this one will never be a very good one, but we'll keep trying. This is quartz, very milky, with something else in it that seems not to be material that will ever take a polish. There's another chunk of it. I would kind of be interested in seeing what happened if I tried putting this in the next stages. Maybe I'll work on this one a little bit by hand to clean it up a bit and then throw it into the next stage. The bigger one is going to spend some more time. This is a big chunk of quartzite that I got from Nelson County. Nothing too special. I suspect there's some more of this gray underneath this brown, but I've said that before and I've been wrong, so we'll see. Here's a big piece of chert that I just kind of threw in because I needed stuff to fill. It has, this came from the same rock. So I think both of these, one thing with this type of chert, often it will fracture. It really, really needs a lot of small rocks around it to kind of cushion as it rolls. Otherwise, it fractures quite a bit. So I'm going to have to add a bunch of small ones this week because I know some of these are definitely done. So a big chunk of epidote that I can't wait for it to be finished. I'm going to do the finishing by hand and just finish this out on my flat lap. Those are pretty small. It'll only take a couple minutes. I can still maintain kind of that natural shape from tumbling. Some more quartz that we got in Bethesda, Maryland, kind of Potomac-y area in a creek bed. It's really fun. So it came from the same area as one of those polished rocks that we saw earlier. Here's one. So it does still have some little pockets that could probably use some work. But I think this one's reaching a point where, yeah, I'm not sure that I would get anything out of continuing to tumble this rock. Again, if you enjoy these rock tumbling videos, make sure you give me a like, subscribe, and yeah, make sure YouTube knows that you enjoy it. I love when new people come along and enjoy the ride with me. So yeah, I'm not sure. I'm going to put this one aside and think about it a bit. Here's some more quartzite. It has some fractures, of course, but I really like the way it looks. Quartzite tends to be difficult to get 100% perfect. This might be one that I let run through stage 2 twice, just to see if that helps. So I'll put that one with the rocks that are moving on. Ooh, this is really pretty. This is a really nice piece of chert. I can already tell is going to be beautiful. It's going to take a perfect polish. It just needs to kind of grind down some of these areas over here. This is one that I cut in half, which means, here's its buddy. There's another half here. So yeah. I don't think I posted a video cutting this one. I maybe should have. Maybe now that I know what it's going to polish like, I will record a video with this and post it. But yeah, this still needs some more time, so off they go. Well, we're up to 7 likes now. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Still haven't seen any of my regulars. That's okay. So this one, I'm really pleased with the grays and just the general color that's coming along, especially this area. I like these darker grays. Still think it could use one more week at least to kind of smooth out this area. But I'm really glad that it's keeping kind of a natural flowy shape, not turning too round. I like them when they're perfectly round, but I also like when you kind of keep a little bit of the natural shape to it. So that one I think I will try not to get too round. So this one I think is probably going to need to move on now. It does still have fractures, but those fractures seem to be kind of persistent. Ooh, look, we've got another little. I don't know why. I'd never noticed that until pretty recently, that sometimes chert will have a weird little pocket of quartz in it. But I love when I find it now. So that one I'm going to move on. Yes, so the Yellowstone here is a little piece of quartz, probably, that I found in Bethesda, Maryland. It's still got some kind of spots that need work. So it's going to go back in. Got like a nice, just kind of generic, I would say, piece of chert, but generic in a good way. Like it's a great typical sample of what tumbled chert around here looks like when it forms in a limestone bed without too much penetration from things like iron that color it. So like this is kind of on the opposite end, a really nice piece of chert that has been stained and all of that and has fun patterns. So we find both here. And this one, so it's got holes, but I'm going to move it on anyway because it's getting pretty small. It's another big chunk of chert from the same rock that we looked at early on. Let me see. Yeah, it came from this. So they're brothers in some way. Probably over here somewhere. That's how they fit together. Let's see, let's look at this nice white quartz. This is just a very plain white milky quartz. It's still got a few spots. So I think if I give it another week or two, these areas that are stained kind of a yellow will grind away and then it'll look really nice. All right, some of my favorite type of quartz. So this is milky quartz with pretty heavy iron staining along fracture lines that gives it this really cool spiderweb pattern. So a couple little spots that still need some time in the tumbler, but this is going to be a good one. So this piece of just kind of a clear quartz has a lot of fractures in it. I don't know that I'll ever, at some point it's going to break because it's getting pretty thin. Maybe I'll move it on and just see what happens. It's another chunk of that quartzite from Nelson County that we saw earlier. It's a very nice piece, but this hopefully just one more week and it'll be ready. It feels like maybe a piece broke off there. So this is the last remaining piece. So this I chopped off of a much larger rock. The rest of it didn't have this kind of ugly color staining on it. So I cut a bunch of little slabs. I made necklaces. If you'd like one, they are in my Etsy shop. I have a few of them, so you can go ahead and check it out there. Hey, Tom. Um, yeah, go ahead and give those a look if that's something you're interested in. Oh, I don't know why I put that one back there. This is definitely ready to move on. There's no cracks, no spots that I need to get more work. So into the stage 2 pile it goes. This one, it looks, so this is a good example of quartzite that looks perfectly round, but when you feel it, There are definitely, especially here, spots that feel grainy, and those are not going to take a great polish. So I don't know if it gets any better if I leave it in longer. Sometimes the center of the stone will be more, or will be less grainy, rather. Um, so I'll give that one another week. I really like this pattern on this side. So this is going to go in my stage 2 pile. That's just a little sliver of chert. Here's a fun little piece of probably some sort of meta basalt that I found out in Elkton the other day. It's only been in here a week. It's already getting pretty small. Meta basalt typically doesn't isn't too hard. Mm, that might be one that needs to go in a separate set of similar hardness rocks. So here's a nice little piece of quartz of some sort. This spot here, I'm probably going to move it on and try and keep that, even though I don't think it will take as nice of a polish. Here's some more of our little spiderwebby quartz. The milky quartz with the fun spiderweb patterns. Oh, let's see. My laptop is in need of a charge, so I'm going to plug that in real quick. And then we'll get back to looking at what's in this bowl. All right. So this one has been very disappointing. I really hoped that it would smooth out well, but it hasn't really. It's still all the fracture lines on this quartzite from I think Nelson County, maybe Madison County, is forming these kind of ugly lines. Sometimes those lines will smooth out, but they don't seem to be with that piece for some reason. Here's some more quartzite, I think, but this site still needs more time. Do I have any lapis lazuli? No. So I mostly tumble things that I find myself, unless people send me stuff. Um, and lapis lazuli we do not have here in Virginia, as far as I know. Here's a neat little piece of quartz. But this spot right here, you can see chipped. So I need it to smooth out first before I move it on. Here's one of those pieces that I don't know why I keep torturing it, but I don't know that it'll ever smooth out very well. Let's see, here's one. Oof. So sometimes these pieces of milky quartz have little air pockets in them, and you never know when it's time to move them along. This one I think I might move along, even though it's got some imperfections, just so it doesn't get too tiny. This one, though, has some deeper pockets, so I'm going to throw that back in. This was chert. Still needs plenty more time. Here's another really cool, I love this red color and these lines. This side is like perfect. This side is not so perfect, but I'm going to move it on anyway. This one still has some grainy texture over here. All right, see you later, man. Neat little piece of quartz that's still coming along. There's another piece of that kind of some sort of quartz or quartzite. It has, and it's not the prettiest color, but it has these cool little speckles in it that I like. And that one's ready to move on. We have lots that are ready to move on today, which is wonderful news. This one still needs some time to smooth out. Nice big piece of chert here. I love this side. Let me make sure that's not. Ooh, it looks even better. Did still have some stuff on it. So this side is beautiful. This side just needs to clear out a little bit. I'll think about what to do with that one. This one's getting there as well. Very, very nice. This quartzite. I love this little like speckles over here. This one I think is ready. We'll move it on. This one, let's see. I'm just feeling them to see if there are any little chipped areas. And this one does have some chips that need more time. Mm, hmm. So that's, I thought this was bigger, which makes me think somewhere in here I've lost its other half. That's all right. So I like the colors here, so I'm gonna throw this one in. Hopefully it'll smooth out a bit. This one's getting pretty close. This is more chert, I think. Another piece. These I think were halves at one point. Hmm. This one, sadly, I love the colors and I liked the pattern, but it feels like it is maybe too grainy. There's a lot of grainy spots that I'm feeling, so I don't know that it will ever work out. This one I think's ready. It's a neat little piece of quartzite. This is a pretty little piece of chert. So this is just a chunk of a slab that I got somewhere and I threw in here. I like it. It looks pretty. I don't really know what it is, but I think it's ready to move on. Let's see. Yeah, a lot of these are not the best for what's left here. See if you can find any that are really cool. So each week, more color starts to show on this one, which is great. I just want this side to flatten out, smooth out a little. It's one of my little Polish, but not really Polish, flint pieces. I love the little swirls. All right, well, we're just about done. Hopefully you all have enjoyed. And we had quite a few pieces that are ready to move on, which means I'm going to need to find some new rocks to put in the tumbler this week. So we'll see how those new ones turn out. Yeah, this is pretty good. All right, well, thank you guys for joining me as I look through all these. And hopefully I will see you here around the same time next week. Until then, good